Oh, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Okay, sorry about that. That's on me. That's on me.
JL.
Muted. Let's go. Let's go. We're back. Okay, we're back. That's on me. That's not production. That's self-production. But look, we're back, man. If you missed it, we had Endemic take down Heroes Hearth. Dreadnought returning. That's on me. We're back, though. Next up, Cataclysm versus Murloc Geniuses. And I got to read this off. We've got Biggie. We've got June. We've got Fan. We've got Cattle. And then we've got Leon Black, the new member coming in to join some of the most accomplished Heroes of the Storm players that we have. As we'll take a look at the bracket there, as you can see, Endemic moving on. Single elimination column. You cannot slip here.
Nope. You lose a single series and you are out. And that's unfortunately what we saw with HHE, but Endemic really stepped it up. They played so fantastically. Really excited to see that play from them. So far in this series that we're moving into, we've got Cataclysm is the winner of the coin flip. So map pick goes to Murloc Geniuses. First pick going over to Cataclysm. We've had Braxis and Cursed both banned out. And Dragonshire will be the first map that we go to. So Cataclysm first pick on Dragonshire is what we're going to be seeing in this first game of this series. And again, this one's going to be close to home, of course, because old friends of mine, I'm ready to watch some banging games, that's for sure.
To further the close to home part, this is the most of the tempo roster. They loved picking Dragonshire. They loved picking second pick. This is exactly where Cattle and team wants to be. Now, if you want to talk about what can make things crazy, on the side of Cataclysm, you've got Equinox, one of the most aggro players in the history of Heroes. 1v5, doesn't matter. Let's go. Now, all of a sudden, you've got Faye on the back line, who I'm pretty sure will be playing some mages. So you've got firepower out of two people like crazy that are coming in here. So I super want to see how crazy Cataclysm can get with their drafts.
Got the Abathur and Genji banned out, of course. We've already talked about this a million times, but pretty sure we're going to consistently see that one. Zeratul banned on the side of Murloc Geniuses, along with the Orphea. So first pick for Cataclysm going to be coming in here. It's Dragonshire with the Abathur gone. We've seen first pick to Hakas already, but it might not happen right here. But it's certainly not out of the equation. We've got Maiev open for the, I think, first time so far. So that's a very easy first pick here for Cataclysm. But then the Diablo, perhaps a Malf or a Tyrande as well to add on to that one. But it's going to be the Medivh instead. Interesting. Okay.
Maybe they can get that APOC Leyline combo going. Or we'll get the Lightning Breath out. But Maiev, the ultimate playmaker, Medivh says, well, if you make plays, I'll just get them out of there. It makes Warden's Cage a little less appealing because if a portal just comes in, the Warden's Cage has zero value. A Nubarak, though, that's aggressive. That is aggressive.
I like the Maiev and a noob pairing. To me, it's like a fine wine and cheese. You know, they just go well together. I actually don't know anything about wine and cheese, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But I like Maiev and a Nubarak together. The Cocoon as well, just to stop a member of Murloc Geniuses from being in the fight. Sometimes you can just run it onto that Medivh, make sure that he's just gone. No portals, no shielding. So lots of really big opportunities there for the draft of Cataclysm. And you got the Hanzo as one of the strongest backline range assassins in the game, so I'm liking what I'm seeing. The Stukov ban, a little sus.
I mean, it gives you, follow-up. Look, if a Nubarak goes in with a stun, Maiev comes back, you can silence them. It greets the Medivh. I don't know if that would necessarily be my first thought in this meta that we've seen so far, so we'll see how that comes out. I just wonder if the Junkrat is going to make their way in. You already have Maiev, so where's your solo? Because Maiev Hanzo tends to be in the bottom two lanes, so Junkrat would normally be a good Medivh answer, but also somebody that can fit in to the solo lane if you wanted to keep the solo bot lane, which is not a far cry from something we would see out of a team with an Anubarak Maiev like we would have seen in a Korean region. That was something that they actually did a lot of, was use that Anubarak to dive the top lane and then use that Junkrat in the solo on the bottom. But because it's a Maiev Hanzo, you've kind of already shown your hand with the Hanzo pick.
All right, the Reynad and Tyrande as well for Murloc Geniuses. Loving the Tyrande, especially with the Diablo. No matter who's playing the Diablo here in this situation, June is really, really good at following up with those stuns, and I know that for a fact. So we'll see see how that dynamic ends up working out. Lots of burst damage though, but on the other side you got Malfurion and Malthael. Malthael very, very good in that solo lane. Also fantastic at clearing out mid when he needs to flex down, so I like that pickup as well. However, the last rates can be completely negated by the Force of Wills of Medivh, so that's something that the members of Cataclysm have to be very aware of.
Somebody disconnected, but we'll take care of that. It looks like it might have just been an observer disconnected. Didn't look like any players dropped. But the Thrall comes in. The Thrall solo lane versus the Malthael. You know, it's a battle that I guess has been more prominent lately than we would have seen maybe last year. Not going heavy into the tank side, instead getting more of the melee assassin roles. So we'll see that unfold. But the Maiev, the Anubarak, look, man, this is like two rams butting their head. And you've got a Diablo on one side that's more than okay with going, and you've got an Anubarak that once you're in, you're in. There's no escaping that moment. So it's a matter of coordination from that Anubarak, from that Maiev, to make those plays going forward and then executing. Because if you don't, and you're going against a stacked Diablo, you're probably just going to get ragdoll. Going against the Medivh, blocking some of that damage, there's going to have to be isolation moments. Who was that final pick that we had on Murloc? It was the Thrall, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to think of the cocoon popper that we're going to have here. The Tyrande Raynor can kind of take care of that, so we'll see how that goes.
Earthquake as well can deal with it, does that tick damage. But big thing for me is going to be watching Diablo and Tyrande together. Likely it's going to be Leon Black playing that Diablo. So I'm excited to see the stuns, the wall stuns, the stuns to follow up, and as well as just the counterplay on the side of Cataclysm. I want to see how they're going to deal with these picks, because on a heavy rotation map such as Dragonshire, with a lot of geometry on the mid-bottom side of the map, it's tough playing against a Diablo, and of course it's just tough playing against him in general because he's such a strong hero. But we'll see how Cataclysm deal with it.
Yeah, it's one thing, because Cattle did so well in the tank role for such a long time, people forget that there was a time where he was more of a ranged player. And that was, I think it was BlizzCon 2016. I remember I went in there and I was thinking, okay, this guy's maybe it was 2016, and he was a Tychus player. I remember he would be the Tychus guy, and he was very good at that role. Then if you go way back to early 2016, before Cloud9 departed, he had come in to play tank at one point there, and then switched back to a ranged role. He was a good Li Ming player. He played a lot of ranged players, so Leon Black can come in, take over the tank role, and all is good.
Yep.
Cattle's just a good player, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. There's a period of time where he wanted to switch to ranged as well, but then it's like he was having difficulty shot calling. He's played off lane. He's played basically everything except for support, but he can also play support, so it's a very versatile player, that's for sure.
Yeah. When you got Jun, you're okay saying Jun. You can stay on support. I'm good. We'll keep our business going over here, allowing him to flex over. We're about ready to go. I think we got everybody back into the game, so we'll load up for you guys here in just a moment. But Murloc Geniuses coming out, and there's you had a special hello. Well, you're gonna have to help me. I'm calling him Tenny, man. I'm not saying that whole thing.
Tenny Dakio?
Yeah, that's the one.
Tenny Daddy.
I'm calling him.
He's good.
Well, there's some different names coming in for this team that's going to be on Cataclysm. Maybe some that haven't quite been in the competitive scene, but they've clearly been around for some time. We get things started.
Gentlemen, here we go. Yep. Look at these guys. Jay Howe. Murloc Geniuses on the left in blue. Cataclysm on the right in red. Couple of additions here. You got Showtime. My man's from Reborn. Showtime, actually a good friend of mine. This guy in the off lane is a force to be reckoned with, and I actually am stoked to see how he deals with the off laner of Murloc Geniuses as well. So.
Speaking of offlaner, I was thinking maybe Cattle would be on one of those range, but he's actually going to be the one on melee, meaning Fan's going to be on the Medivh, and Biggie will be on Raynor. Position he's more than comfortable being on as the fight already gets started. Fireworks will be aplenty with an Anubarak and a Maiev and an Equinox on a team. There's no doubt about that. Fan reset, getting that damage in.
Yeah, we'll see if Fan can get his stacks this game. Last time we saw Medivh, not quite there, unfortunately. Showtime starting off that rotation from top to mid, like I was saying, really, really good Malthael can just basically float like that. Leon, Black steps up way too far there, despite the members of Cataclysm being missing, but that's the nice thing about having a Medivh on your team. You've got those shields, you got portals to get you to safety.
Early start on the Siege camp. We know that that's generally a play. They're worth a lot of experience. It gives you that early lane control. And then when you have a gank squad, like what we saw there, almost able to pop an early Diablo, you now have the ability to roam. You can see the vision being obtained there by June, making sure to put that owl out. But just controlling these early rotations is what it's about for Cataclysm. But the Siege Giant camp in response by Murloc.
Cataclysm doing a really nice job just using their Anubarak and their Maiev to push out this mid lane here, locking down Fan a bit, but again, he's safe with those shields and those portals, and Murloc Genius is doing a nice job with some counter pressure bot lane, but not really able to get the same amount of structural damage. Here goes the wall stun on the Tenny, but he's going to be able to walk away to safety here. Leon just kind of flexing on the Diablo a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't want to full commit. I don't know if the overpower was on cooldown. You could see June throwing out there. You said he follows up as good as anybody. He was expecting the flip, didn't get it, but they didn't really have the kill potential, so that'll be something they'll work on throughout. The Siege Giant camp now pushing forward for Cataclysm, but the Shrine's in control. Medivh's going to have to at least scout that out and stay on top of things.
Showtime versus Cattle. Battle of the top lane. Meanwhile, bottom side, Big Impact taking so much damage, but June doing a nice job keeping his teammates alive. We've got the W for Hanzo finished here. 2 minutes and 39 seconds into the game. Really, really nice job. Equinox trying to channel, but it's not going to happen against Fan. Oh.
He's trying to get the tether in. Leon will get the interrupt onto Elheim. Ooh. Nice shadow charge avoidance there, using that vault by Equinox, but the Shrines continue to be controlled. And this is a lot of control in the early game. Fan's going to get some stacks in for now, but I think we've got some aggression going on in the bot lane here, Colin.
June gets rooted up as well. The damage coming through. And first blood going over to Cataclysm. June not able to stay alive there, not able to keep himself up. And Showtime dueling out onto Cattle as well. But this is a yikes from me because you have the rotation from Fan coming through. Showtime likely just trying to hold channel, but he actually walks away from it instead. That's a big misplay. He could have just stayed on point and they could have got first DK, but the counter engage coming through from Cataclysm. They want to get a kill, especially on Fan. That stacks down is what they're saying.
Yeah, Fan thought he could make it through, but the collapse, the aggression of this team, when you've got the Anubarak and you can get that double stun and then you can try and get the follow-up routes, you know that it's lethal every single time they get near you. And unfortunately unable to survive there, but Cataclysm with an early 2-1 kill lead. Lunar Flare will get the interrupt. You know, Elheim has been looking to channel this. They want to get that DK, but we have to keep in mind that is the support. So even if they get that with the support, it's a matter of how much can you actually get while in there. That's never an easy task when it's your support.
Cataclysm looking to utilize this time with the Shrine control to get the Bruiser camp out to just try to help themselves in top lane. If you have the luxury of having both of these shrines capped, like, you can use that time to try to just get stuff elsewhere on the map, and Cataclysm decided to get the Bruiser camp, which is fantastic. Now they're gonna have a lot more top pressure, and with the Malthael up there, there's like very little that Thrall can do in this situation. Cataclysm might even decide to run it down top with this spell armor. It looks like that's exactly what they're gonna do here. Picked up a hit onto Fan. Does he have the way to escape? And he's so very low, but he's gonna be able to walk away from this one. Nice job.
He didn't walk back into it. He ended up getting the full tether recoil essentially there, bringing him in. By the way, we're getting Malevolence picked up by Leon. He's looking to do some damage, looking to put some pain out on this Diablo, not going into that reset on the Fire Stomp. Another tether going to be there. Shadow Charge out.
Showtime versus Cattle in the top lane, but that is an Anubarak as well. Cattle bit off a little bit more than he could chew, perhaps. He actually ends up dying because of the Medivh rotation coming through. Big save by Fan again. I did not think that Showtime was going to die there.
Didn't either. They ended up getting the damage. You know, we ended up not seeing the Ancestral Wrath for that self-sustain. I think, oh, hello. Hello, Equinox.
Goodbye.
Oh, baby. That's a got him right there.
Yeah, that is a got him.
Everybody, we've been at follow through, picked up.
Yep.
Everybody going into this auto attack build for Murloc at level 7. Not the self-sustain for either.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually. Perhaps that was the decision factor for allowing Cattle to win that 1v1 a lot easier than I anticipated. But nonetheless, you have so much hero removal on the side of Cataclysm. You have Cocoon and the Disc there for Maiev. So there's a lot of playmaking potential. And again, Tenny rotating into the top lane. Medivh is not here this time. Cattle, good night, my son. You are not escaping this one. This is a 4-person rotate to kill this Smork. Goodbye.
He's
living way too long, though.
You gotta give him credit for surviving the Sundering. You know, look, once you start to at least draw it out, it makes the Sundering a little less, you know, like, oh, maybe you shouldn't have used it. It helped him survive, get him the stacks to heal up there, but he fell. Make no mistake about it. He was dead, but buying the time, it's fun.
Cataclysm doing a great job so far in this game number 1 of the second series of the day. We got 4 kills to 2 kills, a level lead for Cataclysm, and of course we have to talk about the fact that that mid fort is down. Equinox taking a wealth of damage here, so very low. Elheim trying to keep him up with the Trank as well, but that's just gonna be a dead hero, and Tenny is actually kind of caught out down on this bottom side of the fight. He's in a lot of trouble. Showtime trying to escape as well. That Cocoon should be enough, but Showtime's going to die for it. Everyone dying for the sins of one hero. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, feels like Hero League, but here we go. I mean, it happens, man. One person gets caught out. You're so close yet so far, and you think that you're going to turn it. That Cocoon ended up going out right as the overpower was about to come out on from Leon, so it actually saved Malthael for a moment. And it's just like you're so close with each of these buttons, but every single one seems to have just this cascade effect of if this doesn't happen, then this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and then it ends up staggering a few deaths. But Cataclysm still with a small lead. Now we're looking at Shrine control for Murloc for the moment. It's going to be neutralized here in a second.
Tenny getting flipped into the situation by Leon, but he's going to be able to use that burrow charge to get away to safety. Portal comes through to see if they can find anything further onto Tenny, but again, just going to be able to walk away from that one. Equinox now in the top lane as well. Has to be careful of getting engaged on here. There is the Prism to try to escape, and he's going to be able to walk away from that one, but Cataclysm just have to be more careful about getting caught out like that, especially playing against a Diablo and a Medivh. They can find any angle.
It's working out well for them for now. So they'll look to take another fight. We got Equinox being aggressive mid lane again. Starfall out in response. Vault comes in. You know, some of the names on Cataclysm we haven't heard a lot, but we know the familiar names of Equinox and team. So one of the things that we're doing this weekend that has never been done before in competitive heroes is we are giving a live listen in, fan protected by the way. We've been giving live listens on the comms of these teams. We've never had it live during a competitive environment like this. We're going to continue to give that out for you guys on various teams as the Sunder comes in onto Elheim, and he's in trouble. That's going to be a double here for Murloc.
Tenny Dakiel, no escape at this point. He has the Cocoon, no E right now, but Fan just deciding to stop the push here. Leon Black is on the side, but Tenny should be able to burrow charge away to safety at this point. Cooldown coming back up. Leon looking for another engage, but definitely not going to be able to find it onto members of Cataclysm at this point. Nice escape.
Yeah, cleanup duty right now. Yeah, getting the lanes pushed back out, getting the Shrine control, see what Murloc can make happen. We normally see camp play a lot for Murloc at this stage of the game, or at least cattle teams that we've seen in the past. So we'll continue to get a look in. I think we're going to try and get a listen in as Anubrak's going to fall. We'll try and get a listen in for Kata in a moment as the Dragon Arrow comes out. Leon trying to survive. See if let's go right into this fight. Let's get the listen in right now.
Actually, yeah, I'm fine.
Hands up, hands up.
Nice. Can we go in? I have Trank still.
I need to wait for heals.
Okay.
I need to wait for
Yeah.
heals.
That's
Just
fine.
look, yeah, we got.
Okay.
Yo, Toaster.
Hey, we slowed it. Try.
Rainer?
Eat the
Trank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can go in now.
Man.
I'm being. I'm fine.
Come on, cattle.
Done one. Oh, we can't do anything.
I'm on my way.
Okay. We can still sleep.
We need to stall mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go.
No Tron stun.
Captain real fast.
Thrall's mid. Stall mid, Tenny.
I got him.
Coming up mid.
Okay, we don't have Equinox or bet. We might have to disengage.
I can
Just keep poking as best as possible. Showtime cap top. We just stall us 3. Stall us 3. I have a D for Faye, and we have double. I'll do you here.
They see me.
Yeah,
I'm up here.
just cap top. Oh shit, I'm sorry. Oh, nice. Rooting.
Got it.
Nice. So,
Captain,
throw out the top.
I don't have 12.
I'm going top.
Leon's low. Leon's
Yeah, they're ganking top.
I'm here. Yeah, we can fight these.
Yeah, we're coming.
They're coming
I'm
out.
out.
No portal. That's
Okay.
so good.
Just clear next mid wave, then we can skirmish again.
I'm just threatening.
Okay,
threatening.
never mind.
We cap.
Heal.
Careful, Showtime. I can.
Yeah, just clear the waves up top.
Need another heal.
Yep, in 2, in 1. They're doing camps now. We just.
They might go on us. I think we're okay though.
I'm watching. Okay, we're out. Let's get out. Leave Showtime top. Let's just group up again. 1-3-1 it.
Yeah. We can do our
Oh.
giant second.
I think we
Yep.
just won, man. I don't think we won 3-1.
1-3-1 is still fine. We're just making minor mistakes.
That's too risky. They have Medivh. There's no reason to 1-3-1 anymore. It's too late in the game.
Kala? Raynor?
Raynor? Dude, I love Elheim. I've heard so much about him from basically every member who's ever interfaced with him, saying that he's just got a colossal cranium. He's so good at the game. He's a great shot caller, and this is the first time I've really got to hear him talking comms, and man, it's so heartwarming. I love the guy. Fantastic shot caller, but just Cataclysm not quite able to find all these plays that they're looking to set up, and just getting randomly picked here and there. Again, you have to be so careful against this Medivh Diablo combination. Showtime already dying in the top lane like this, like, just has to be way more cautious.
Right now, Cataclysm playing against Murloc Geniuses to a spot that feels similar to our first series, where Heroes Hearth, 4 remained from BlizzCon, then they brought in Dreadnought. But Endemic came in with a monster upset. Now Cataclysm coming in to try and defend against this. Tenny just anchoring there, but also denying that vision onto that camp. And now they don't know. Is it Maev? Is it more members on that night camp? And so denying that small bit of vision will allow Cataclysm some control over this as they get the camp, and they'll probably rotate down looking for a fight. This is a big flank coming in from the top left column.
Cataclysm trying to find this flank. They have so many tools to eliminate heroes on the side of Murloc Geniuses with that cocoon, with that containment disc, but Tenny just drops the impale and walks away from it. Interesting. Cataclysm not looking to make a play. I guess they do have top pressure, but here we go. Cattle, really nice job of using that Sunder while he's stunned up, and Tenny gets turned on and immediately blown up. Really big turn by Murloc's Geniuses.
Elheim's doing everything he can to keep this team alive, but the amount of damage and focus target that's coming out from Murloc is there. There's going to be the roots that will meet the portal, which is a threat. Seeing if they can continue to make a play. Cattle and team forcing their way in. Siege Giants not quite left. Equinox will eat the stun, but right now, Murloc Geniuses, they get the first fort down on the side of Cataclysm. Speaking of forts, this one at the top left, it's not long before this one goes.
Honestly, at the end of the day, Cataclysm got quite a bit off of that too. You know, getting that top fort, even though, you know, basically no games on Dragonshire end via top, it's still experience in the pockets of Cataclysm just coming through, scaling in. Equinox has to be really careful here. Engage coming through, but Elheim with the brilliant route to stop Leon Black from advancing, but there's the Lightning Breath. Equinox getting slowed up. He's going to be able to use that Shade to get away to safety though, but very, very close.
The crazy part
That's
about
Lightning
that,
Breath on cooldown though.
That is Lightning Breath, but one of the things that happened, it was so subtle. The Nature's Cure was used, but then the Owl came in, that 13 Owl added that slow, which was like, wait a minute, it's like, can we make this happen? So there was like buttons being pressed at the exact right time. You can see Equinox just barely getting out of danger, but Nature's Cure, but more importantly, as you said, that Lightning Breath, long cooldown, won't be there for another minute. That might be around the time we start to hit that 20 tier. We're still waiting on first DK, are we not?
No, we one was picked up for Cataclysm, and then they got.
Oh, that's right. We had the one.
I believe
yeah.
Elheim was in that one.
Yeah, okay,
but
yeah, you're
still, it has been a very low dragon game. Very small amount of dragons so far. Murloc Geniuses stepping up. They don't want to give over another fort just for free like this, but it's gonna happen. 20's just on the horizon for both of these teams. And like this is where communication between on teams is so important. You know, once 20s hit, that's really when we're going to see these teams looking to make big plays. You know, there's going to be no Earthen Shields, of course, at level 20 for Thrall because he's Sundering. But then looking across these other heroes, honestly, I feel like the level 20 spike for Cataclysm's a little bit stronger.
Well, here we go. Equinox, there's Nature's Cure. Tenny will go in. You can see right now Elheim trying to keep his team alive, but that's strength basically used to keep Maev alive, who throws out the containment disc, doesn't land on anybody. Malthael was able to sneak up to the top, but now he's got to get the heck out of dodge. He should make it out, but 20 picked up by Murloc Geniuses. 20 will be nearby. We can see on the minimap Anubarak already rotating bottom. So they'll have a 20 versus 20 team fight. Now it's a matter of camp and vision controls. We see the Knights being picked up by Murloc Geniuses at the top left, and their Siege Giants being stolen here by Cata.
This could have been a better rotate for Cataclysm if they took bot Bruisers and then looked to take away Murloc Geniuses' Siege camp, but Murloc Genius is just way too fast. You know, they rotated immediately from their Bruiser camp into their Siege camp. They don't want to give that old Tempo Storm play over to Cataclysm. You know, that's something that Kettle's very, very familiar with, and this is where pressure starts to mount for these two teams. Level 20s across the boards. Heroics coming back online for every team in 40 seconds here. Reynad just the last one to be able to get his Heroic online, and that is the most exciting part. I want to see a 20v20 team fight. I want to see a banger come through.
Well, right now, Kata, they're going to get the stun in. The follow-up and the defense is going to be there. Cattle getting bounced around. It comes out with the Sunder. Last Right's going to be neutralized by Protected, by the way. Tyrande, does she make it out of here? Yeah, she's fine. I was wondering if we had any CC to follow up that. But for Cataclysm, they're fighting under the spell armor. This is exactly where they want to be to continue this fight.
Leon Black had 10% HP and he taps, and now he's full. Devils do Omega Lull, but still dies in the engagement from Cataclysm. Huge plays, but Showtime is also in trouble. Keep in mind, he has Nobody Can Stop Death, so he can be back on the map immediately, and that's what we're seeing. Big ley line to come through. Tenny Dakiel doing a nice job at stopping any plays being made off of it, and that's another kill going over to Murloc. Huge play.
Portal
big
track down. There's the... That's the slow, and the damage is coming out. Elheim, he's going to fall down. Leon tried to get the Shadow Charge in, but his team capitalized. Wait a minute. He's going to go ahead and go in.
Equinox?
Emoji?
He's going to be a little back. He's too far away. Yeah.
Yeah. Malthael can't afford to die. He's actually not backing at all.
Uh-oh. Why? Oh, he was looking to cheese bottom cap. Yeah, I see what he was trying to do. That was actually kind of smart at Equinox. Unless he dies, then that was literally the worst thing he could have done. I think you could have just... But it's also just stalling out time. Yeah, dude, that is not hot. That's not it.
That's a stagger right there.
Yep.
Malthael already trying to clean up the bot lane, so there's not just a massive amount of pressure down here because the DK will be picked up. And if it's pushing with Siege Giant Camp and the catapults, this might be lights out here. Murloc trying to take game number 1 right now.
Yeah, it's going to be 30 seconds of no Maev with this 5v4 push on the bottom side of the map. So Murloc Geniuses have the opportunity to at least pick up the first keep of the game, and it could possibly be more. It all depends on the defense capabilities of Cataclysm. Keep in mind, they've got percent damage with Malthael. They've got Hanzo, which is fantastic for dealing with this DK. So they could very well make a sizable defense. It's just, you know, you're playing against a Diablo and a Tyrande. Also, Diablo is in this DK, so no wall bangs as a potential.
I think that's very good that you pointed that out, because that is one of the best engagement tools that you have under this to try and finish this game. Instead, it's going to be up to Cattle to try and initiate, try and get that root. Hyperion comes down, still at 80% on the DK. As you said, playing for a keep is here. Trying to end game is difficult at this stage. See how the defense is. Cataclysm holding for now. There's the root, but the counter engage. Here it comes, Kala.
Big stuns, but the Protected is there. Biggie is going to do okay. He jumps through the portal with that last rights on him, and he has full HP. Dragon Knight focusing on that keep, and Murloc Geniuses are stepping in for more, but I don't know if they can do that. I think just taking the keep, portal to safety if you have to, is probably their best play, or perhaps even bait Cataclysm into a deeper angle and then portal onto them. But you know, they only have 2 heroics left up. I don't think they want to take that risky fight, especially considering the fact that they just opened up the map with that keep.
That will give them the control, and as you said, Cattle teams most notably the tempo teams that had such dominant runs on Dragonshire, played a lot around the bottom lane and the double camp potential. We'll see the timer. We got 5 seconds till this DK expires. We'll take a look at the mini-map and see what we can assess from Murloc Geniuses, where they're going to be. Both teams going for their night camps. The bottom camp available. They want to get this top left camp out, rotate towards that bottom lane, and then try and get that double camp. With that owl going out, they've basically signaled where they're at. I think for Murloc, they're just going to go ahead, cut their losses, reassess, try and make their next move. It's like it's basically a chess game at this point.
Yep. 4D, remember? Smile. Clap.
4D.
Though, a little bit of a different situation here for Murloc Geniuses is the fact that this bottom bruiser camp is very important to them because they have constant cata pressure. Equinox managing to dodge that Sunder, but Leon finds the engage on the backline. Really big containment disc to stop that from coming through, but Malthael dies. Has the resurrection, though, but that is a huge cooldown, and that is definitely not what Cataclysm wanted to trade out basically for free there. Arrow.
Rotation down towards the camp. Dragon Arrow.
Monka.
No commitment to the play of the game, but now they're committing towards the fight. Last rites, not going to be defended there as we saw Medivh in the cocoon, not able to get the protection in there. It's going to be a double. Leon Black trying to get out of there. Here comes the portal. 3 members down on the side of Murloc. It is now Cataclysm's game to try and win here, Cattle.
Cataclysm running in. Can they find Leon? They're trying to race towards it, but that's the portal to safety. But now Cataclysm have an opportunity to try to brute force on an objective. You have an Anubarak who can constantly spawn beetles to stop the keep shots from coming through. They dive on defend. He's got protected. It's a small portal, very tiny lad. But it still might be enough to get him to safety. Now in trouble is Showtime, and he can't come back.
I thought for sure they'd try and make a play to take down the keep and maybe look for the game, but they went straight for game to try and get the kills. They would have cleaned up after that. Instead, we're now going to have that extra long death timer on Malthael. He already bought back once. It's still somewhat conceivable you can stall this out, but you cannot give up a DK as Cataclysm. You have a couple of tools, but the problem is you have no retreat points. If you get top or you get bottom, your retreat point is essentially trying to make mobility out of a Anubarak. They do get the night camp on the bottom, does Cataclysm, so that gives them the chance to at least hold vision in that lane against the catapults. But is it long? I don't even see the timer yet for Malthael. I'm still waiting. Actually,
so
gonna sneak in
what I'm most sweaty about is the fact that Cataclysm didn't decide to take bot bruisers with their siege instead of just trying to brute force onto the keep and then look for a DK push after that. Like that, it was a really, really good opportunity for them to try to end the game with those kills that they got on the Murloc Geniuses, but they got a little bit overambitious, especially Showtime just jumping in a little bit too deep there.
Malthael is 5 seconds away from coming back. There it is. There's the timer. There's going to be the charge in. That's only an Anubarak. So continue to battle. Roots go down. Portal coming in. See if they go through. Cattle gets the root. The follow-up is there. The Sunder comes down. Tenny will get out to safety.
Sunder
this is a clutch moment. Reynad's actually missing from here. There's going to be the cocoon used. See if they can get the follow-up. See if he has a rewind to try and get some stuns here.
Got the portal out. He's stunned up. And quad stun. Thrall gets deleted. Fan is now in trouble. Has to use that lane line. Really, really nice job. Should have the portal up in just a moment. But I was going to say that was a fantastic trade for Cataclysm because you trade out Rewind for Sundering. Like, I'll do that every day of the week, right? You have top control right now. They can look to rotate onto bottom with their Maiev and try to look for that cap as well. Murloc Geniuses should know this. Honestly, this would be a fantastic time to jump into comms with Murloc if we're able to, but fight breaking out real fast. Showtime. He's trying to do some damage to Leon. June is stunned up. What are Murloc Geniuses going to do?
June barely lived. Leon did not. That is a reset on souls. He'll be back, but it's Cataclysm again. If we can listen in on what we got to listen in right now. We're going to see how they can try and close this game out.
The rest of them are all top. I think we give DK and just D.
No, Bata's bottom.
Yeah, but it's still 4v4. We don't have anything.
It's fine.
Can we get this out? Get this out. Get this out.
It's a 26.
Yo, they're on their camp?
That's fine. No, I don't care.
Yeah,
push bottom.
the camp, off the camp.
Push bottom. This is literally what I did in fucking HGC, dude. Fuck the Crucible shit. Fuck that shit, bro.
You guys need to be up here.
Yeah, we're coming.
I don't
Yeah,
get
we're
you.
They might dive Faye. Okay, if they dive Faye, just let me know so I can cleanse you. I have shit for you.
I have last right top. Last right
Don't
top.
let them, don't let them hit
Yeah,
me.
Diablo no res.
Yeah, really good.
Okay. Look at
Running,
Cattle!
Yeah.
Right here! No I'm here, Showtime.
Yeah.
Very well. Let's start fall down.
Can we
Can we go on them?
Keep going,
Go
Going in.
Arrow on
Kicking Leon out. Clicking Leon out. Biggie.
Dude!
I got him.
There you go.
Vinny.
I have cleanse, Faye. I have cleanse. I'm watching you.
Careful.
They're on.
They're on me.
I'm coming. 2 seconds.
He'll cut Diablo.
Just kill Diablo. Kill
I
me.
just ran.
Running.
Yeah. Can we kill this
No
kid?
Medivh.
There we go.
Dead.
Core.
Nice. Core.
No, heroes.
Rooting 5. No, just end.
Core.
I got him.
Core.
ID'd. Shit, core. Don't.
Kala, I'm getting goosebumps
dude.
over here.
I know, dude. I'm freaking out. I love listening to Elheim. He's so passionate. Tenny Dakiel, can he get the end? It's going to be that last chomp and GG. JL Cataclysm taking that game #1. And it's so... I love this listening mechanic, dude. I love being able to jump into these team comms and just see how they plan out the map, see how they decide to end the games. And just, dude, hearing the Jude. It just is so exciting, dude. I'm so stoked on this tournament.
I'm gonna say, like, I kind of just assumed it was over, and then I looked back. I'm like, wait, Anubarak is the only one left. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
That should have been a little easier. It should have been a little easier to end there. But they got the win. I actually was like, all right, we're looking away. This is game over. And I'm like, oh wait a minute, like, there's one person left.
Yeah.
But yeah, we heard the comms here, man. This was wild.
There was some cattle question marks going on the comms of Cataclysm at this point. And then June, he steps up a little bit too far, I believe, off of one of these engagements. And I think it's right here. We saw the rewind come through. They look to engage on Biggie again. But then the turnaround and the Q onto June for Tenny Dakiel. Just big play. Pick up that kill immediately with no help from Fan, unfortunately. I don't think that the W was up from Medivh at that point. And then Elheim just telling Faye, I have Q on you. I'm looking to cleanse if they engage on you. They turn on to Elheim, but he's able to dance away and survive. But this was so hairy, dude. They were so low.
I'm like watching this again for what it feels like the first time. I was just elated to hear like how excited they were. But Fan, like, going through and all the damage coming in, I'm like, wait a minute. Like, all right, this should be fine. Yeah, this is fine. And then I look back and it's like 5% and only a Nubarak. And I'm like, wait a minute. How did we get here? I'm so excited. I'm looking. We're trying to like make sure that we're going back. And I'm like, wait, no. Okay, they're good.
Dude, that was fantastic. I like listening to Elheim. He's very passionate. It's funny because apparently Showtime's a very passionate player as well. He calls himself kind of the hype man of a team. So maybe we'll be able to hear a little bit of that hype coming through from Showtime later on throughout these series. But keep in mind again, folks, single elimination. So every game counts.
Who was that was talking about HGC flashbacks?
That was Elheim.
That was Elheim?
Yeah, he's sweating his pouch off in that situation, dude. He does not want to lose that one.
Oh, that was wild. But as you said, single elimination. Endemic already took down Heroes Heart. Now we've got Murloc defending against Cataclysm here on what we would say, based on the players on Murloc Geniuses and the lead of Murloc Geniuses, this is basically what we would probably say if you were to pick a team in their best battleground, this would be it. Like, this is home territory for Cattle and team on Dragonshire.
I personally think that even though Wooby has proved that it's very effective shot calling from the off lane, it didn't sound like Cattle had a lot to do with the macro. And previously, like when we jumped into comps for Tempo Storm, a lot of it was fan talking. And a lot of the old style Dragonshire setups that Tempo Storm used to run was very much set up by Cattle. So I think that that's maybe why we're seeing not as strong a performance on Dragonshire from them. I'm not saying that Fan's a bad shot caller or anything like that, but the traditional Tempo Storm style setup on that map is usually dictated by the likes of Cattle and Psalm. So
yeah, well,
it's interesting.
Exciting thing is we go from Dragonshire to Tomb of the Spider Queen, which means that we're keeping the action. There were 34 total kills. I'm actually double check. 35 total kills in that last game. Small map, lots of action. We're going to get even more. I think there might have been 35 at the end of that. But we're getting Tomb of the Spider Queen. Another map where macro is there, but it's in a very different sense than the big maps like a Sky Temple, Cursed Hollow. These two small maps have such unique dynamics that one minor play can have a long-lasting snowball effect in terms of the macro side of things. So this is my favorite map too, so I'm never going to complain when we get Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Really, is it? Fair enough.
I love
didn't know
Tomb,
you were
man.
boosted. That's fine. Sorry?
It's the easiest map to stack on. Easiest map to stack
enough.
on.
All right, you're right. I'll give that to you. Yo, I think that Diablo and Medivh need to get out of these games, though, to be honest. I don't know if Diablo and Medivh make it through too frequently. The Medivh, like, it was good last game, and it shut down a lot of what Cataclysm were running, especially with that last rites. But I just think that Cataclysm shouldn't give the Medivh over to Murloc Geniuses. We'll see what they decide to do. And then as well, like, Leon's such a good Diablo player. I think that they would be very wise to try to limit those hero pools or those kind of really strong style of compositions, especially on this map. But on the other side, like, what do you do in the banning phase to try to shut down Cataclysm? Like, I'm just trying to think, but I don't really know.
Well, Tomb is a great mage map, and Faye loves mages. She was on Hanzo last game. Some of those early dragon arrows, by the way, were money. The later ones, you know, like there was a lot of activity, and you know, you're shooting for the stars, and they would just kind of miss, but they were still very well timed. But this is a mage map. I mean, Faye was one of the few. I remember Faye was one of the originators. I think it was the what was the old 16 talent? Was Flamethrower at 16? What? I can't remember. Look, innovation, willing to go out of the way to try different abilities on mages. I love mages. Mages work well on Tomb. I don't really like Gul'dan on Tomb. But give me a Jaina. Give me a Kalthus. I'm okay with that. Let me see the orc.
Did you say you don't like Gul'dan on Tomb?
Yeah, I saw enough Gul'dan towards the end going into BlizzCon, and like Gul'dan was super monka, dude. Like, he was not good on Tomb.
Fair enough. I'll take that.
It changed my mind forever.
I love that. Okay, so there we go. Cataclysm banning off the Diablo. This is Tomb of the Spider Queen. I think that's a very good choice, but keep in mind, folks, there are more pocket picks on the side of Murloc Geniuses that are possible. We know the powerful nature of Stitch's Tyrande, Stitch's Malfurion. Maybe something like that comes out here for Murloc. And Stitches on Tomb of the Spider Queen is something that's very, very strong. But I love that we're going to see the first Zeratul game.
Yeah, Kerrigan banned because of Equinox on the other side means Zeratul's open.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing that I used to love and hate about Stitches is, look, if you hit a Stitches on Tomb, dude, you're balling. Like, you're out there and you're getting kills. But if you're missing, how do you engage? The Stitches rework, I feel, took care of some of those issues with how his cleave works, going out there, or the slam, I should say, getting that slam, getting that slow on the front line. Because before, it's like, how do I engage with Stitches? I can't walk forward because I literally do nothing. Now he actually does something. So if Stitches does come out, you know, we would see it. I think now with Anubarak and Garrosh on both respective teams, we're not going to see that. But that is something that you bring up that I want to see. I want to see how it unfolds now with new Stitches.
Yeah, I love that there's an Anubarak versus the Garrosh. To me, the Anub is a huge power pick against Garrosh because the only thing that Garrosh can basically do, there's a couple interesting interactions. One being able to Indomitable the Cocoon, but no, the big thing is Anubarak can shut down Garrosh so frequently if he tries to find angles. You have to be on top of your game with those Indomitables. And all these games are played on Central, so it can be a little bit more difficult than on a LAN situation. So we're going to have to watch out for the interactions between Anub and Garrosh throughout this game.
Anubarak, also one of the few heroes that, look, you get tossed in, you just walk away, or you burrow away. Johanna would be the other pick, but Johanna doesn't seem like a Cataclysm-style hero. Look, they're going to be aggressive. Johanna has weird ways of being aggressive, but this is an Anubarak, man. You got to love it. Jaina going to be the ban on the other side, so the burst damage that we would have between a Genji, Jaina with a Garrosh tossing this way and that, not going to happen. See if they find their big damage elsewhere. They still need wave clear. That's the one thing. Whoever your damage dealer is has to have wave clear here.
Yeah, likely. I think the Jaina ban was fantastic, honestly, but it could have worked for Cataclysm as well. Just could have been a little bit hairy, actually. Zeratul would have operated exclusively as your offlaner, but big combos. Let's see. Malfurion, fantastic pickup. Is that the lady herself? Tips
Give me
Fedora?
some Sylv. Oh, that fan's been loving some Sylvanas. Let's go. By the way, Collusion hitting me with the what's on the Gul'dan. Do I need to remind
we're all
him
tilted
how
at you, dude.
Do I need to remind him how Team Freedom at the time did with Gul'dan on Tomb of the Spider Queen? Because we've got video. We got video, and trust me, you guys were one of the teams that I was probably most critical against, and for good reason. You guys couldn't. Oh my goodness. What? How does Oriole fit here?
I don't know, dude.
Auto
Maybe
attack
just
Hanzo?
Oriole? Yeah, I guess so.
Auto attack 1,
Fantastic.
explosive at 4.
Yo, talk to us about the Sylvanas, okay? I want to hear. I gotta hear what you got to say about her.
There's only one player in this tournament. There's only one player that I know has effectively run this, and I think Sylvanas has fallen into maybe Imperius can be a solo laner. This is going to be fun to watch, but Sylvanas to me, and again, it's still up in the air. It's debatable right now. Sylvanas to me is she can do damage, but it's hard to do damage, so you got to be really good. Her trait now, you have to do it as a team. It's kind of like Medivh. Like, you can't just walk up, look, I solo shut down the structure. You're going to get minimal value. So I think Sylvanas now is more geared towards competitive, but there's still other heroes that do damage better. There's other heroes that wave clear better. And so she's kind of in that weird thing to where if you're going to pick Sylvanas, it is because you're going to sacrifice a little in a couple areas that you can make up with top tier play, but also maybe gain with her level 4 talents or her trait with your team. And I love Sylvanas. Everybody knows Sylvanas is my most played hero. But in terms of the rework, I haven't been a big fan in terms of solo queue because I feel like she does things well, but not one thing great. And oftentimes in solo queue, you want the one hero that does something great versus one hero that does something kind of okay in both departments that's really hard to pull off. But Fan has been playing a lot of Sylvanas, man.
Interesting. Okay, Leon, be gentle, please, says Equinox. That's a Gachi base from me. Okay, anything standing out here? I don't think so. The one thing for me is, again, talking about Caterpillar, playing the Imperius. I have played with him multiple times where he's playing Imperius, and he tops damage charts. He really eats cake. He eats cake on this hero, and he's fantastic. I can't say my normal quote because this is a wholesome environment. Smile.
There's already a toss in. Root's a little late, but, you know, just a starting skirmish. No auto attack build from Hanzo. So how do you feel now that we've seen it Scatter Arrow Hanzo with an Ariel?
Yeah, I don't know about that. Equinox getting absolutely blasted here in the early game. Fan looking for that kill. Takes the E, drops the spray. What a lad. But now Cattle onto the backside of that fight, gets stunned up really nice. Detainment strike by Elheim. Tenidactyl in a bunch of trouble here as well. June getting those autos. Big impact, picking up another kill. And this is a banger of an early game here, Jay How.
This is, I said it's going to be another small map. We're going to get there. Look, every time Fan steps forward, I'm like, does he have 3 dots? Does he press W? Okay, value. Because that level 1, it was weak when it came out. They ended up buffing it a little. There's very few players that I've seen on stream that do it quite like Fan. Like, this guy gets actual value out of the talent. Look, it's a good talent. Oh, Equinox, that might not be the right way to blink. But every time Fan stacks, man, I get a little more excited about potential Sylv damage.
Okay, I'm not so sure about this Zeratul play so far. Equinox, you really got to tighten it up, buddy. Let's see if he can, you know, change up his playstyle. Because honestly, Zeratul is a worthless hero up until level 7 at the earliest. But then later on, level 16, he becomes a powerhouse. Zeratul very strong in the later stages of this game. And if you feed kills during the early game, it's just going to make things worse and worse and worse for you. So I'd like to see him just chill out a little bit. You know, they're up 1 game. You don't have to make big plays. Just get the minions, play slow. Excuse me.
I want to see what we get in a competitive environment for Sylvanas level 4.
True.
Do we get just Explode, which is fast clear? Do we actually get the famed Possession?
Stay tuned to find out.
Rip. No Possession.
Time versus Cattle. Battle of the wet noodles, honestly.
somebody's
Battle
little
getting caught, bud.
got cooked.
Mm-hmm. Tenny
Speaking
getting
of
rooted
getting
up in the
cooked.
mid lane as well. Yeah, dude, everyone's just getting blasted right now, just left and right. Meanwhile, Cataclysm starting the siege camp, gonna get a little bit of early pressure moving out, force rotations from Murloc, perhaps get some of those gemmies turned in for themselves. Of course, we were talking about the snowball potential on this map could be massive if Cataclysm able to get that turn in. You know, especially having a resourceless support, you can just run it down.
Yeah, I mean, that always is the thing with Ariel, and the fact that we're not getting a traditional battery just, it still blows my mind. We saw in the very first engagement, ooh, Leon trying to get the toss in, but the very first engagement, we saw there was a heal, if we even want to call it that, onto the Zeratul blinking out. It looked like nothing, and there was no way to get another heal in. It was just like, he did. Speaking of he did, Elheim trying to juke for his life right now as Tenny comes in, and his life is gone. Reset.
That's one.
Another
that's
one.
Two. Big E. Equinox finds the kill, but has no way out, no wormhole yet. Gonna be able to walk away. That is his only escape path. Really, really nice job there. Leon Black on the side misses the Q. Unfortunately, can't find the E as well. Showtime with a really nice knockback, and that's just gonna be the 2-for-1 trade going in favor of Murloc Geniuses. But I don't believe there was any gems missed there.
Yeah, call it. Showtime's Urel has been impressing me. Equinox, lucky to be alive there.
Dude, he's good.
But Showtime's Urel is actually been really good.
Yep, I agree. I think it's his best hero personally. Even though, like, Urel in general is like the most resident sleeper hero in this game, I think that Showtime finds a way to make it interesting. So we got to give it to him. Fan, however, dude, Tenny's just going in even though there's no damage follow-up. He has to be very, very careful about this.
Speaking of going in, Fan is going in. Tenny with the shield at the last second. Now Fan under assault. There's going to be the Vorpal. That's enough to get a kill there, Equinox.
Nice job. Dude, I thought Equinox was going to die. I thought Tenny was going to die. That was a clencher in all terms of the word, man. That was so very, very close. And Equinox missing that singularity spike I thought was going to lose them the kill, but they actually did end up getting that pick on to Fan. Might give Cataclysm an opportunity to step up and look to get some gems turned in. But so far, Murloc Geniuses have just done a better job getting theirs turned in. Have to make sure they don't miss top soak, though.
Well, Fan sitting at 42 stacks on his level 1. Also went Festering Wounds at level 7. So if he does E over, get that Haunting Wave onto a target, it will apply those 3 stacks, meaning he just presses W after that and getting that bonus damage with those stacks. Equinox didn't quite get the turn in. I'm not real sure what that was. But they got the turn in and all as well.
Yep. I mean, there's been a few thinking emojis coming out here and there. Some of these players are, you know, not super rusty, but it's not like they've been putting in as much effort as before the HGC was cut. So we can expect a little bit of a learning curve for some of these teams. Equinox needs to make sure that he's not getting caught out here. Does he have the blink? I don't think so. He's just gonna blink into the enemy team. Yikes. It's okay, it happens.
He is.
But seriously, I want to be critical of his Zeratul play. Yeah, but he just needs to play safer. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Your job as Zeratul is not to kill anyone ever until you hit like 7 to 16, maybe level 10 actually. You know what I mean though? Like your job is to kill minions and that's it.
Yeah, you're an opportunistic poke hero, and you go in and you harass early with your wormhole, and that I'm with you. I'm with you. He's definitely, the shades of Equinox are bright here. That's right, the shade is bright. The rotation down. Let's see if we get a flank that comes in from Murloc. There's the stun.
Man is mid, so we could for sure. Looks like he is coming in here, especially in a moment before Cataclysm just gets that 10 beforehand. Really, again, dude, look at Showtime just making big disengage plays.
Yeah, it's hard to really state how important those all right, well, we're fine. Just a sigh of relief, that breath of fresh air, that moment to just be able to walk away and feel like, okay, we're good. And he's providing that. Level 10 picked up. Everything normal across the board for Cataclysm will be the Wailing Arrow, but we're getting Dragon Blade out here against a cocooned Anubarak.
I love weeb things, dude. But yeah, we gotta talk about how easy it is to shut that down. Tenny getting caught out as well on the bottom side of the map. A little bit of a T-Tours, but that's okay. we're focused elsewhere, and that's perfectly fine in these situations. But also, we have to talk about the Wombo potential, right? You've got the Void Prison and then the Dragon Arrow on top of that. So that's something that Cataclysm could be looking to make happen for themselves in these team fights. But at the same time, I want to see how this Dragon Blade is going to be used, because as you mentioned, you're playing against a Cocoon, so it can be very difficult to get value out of it.
Well, we've got multiple silences. See if they maybe try and double up, get one and then the other. The old Twilight Dream into a Wailing Arrow, one or the other. Just full-on aggression. You can't do damage if you can't press your buttons. We'll see if that happens. But Sylvanas, trait value plus Web Weavers. Let's see how this unfolds, because for me, it's a sight to see. It's been a long time.
Elheim getting flipped in. That is not what you want to have happen if you are playing. Oh, really nice dodge of the silence. And he's going to be able to walk away. Elheim, you are so smart. What a fantastic lad. Tenidactyl, though, dying for the sins of Ariel. And that's, so far, Anubarak has not had much success in this game.
Trait was used on the fort wall, which means it won't be able to lock down this, at least for a short while longer. Not even going to be necessary, as they'll take down the first fort of the game here. Murloc Geniuses with a half-level lead, starting to stretch their legs a little to take some control after a defeat in game one. Both teams sitting on enough coins, enough gems for the turn-in. See how this gets handled.
Back-to-back turn-in potential here coming through for Murloc Geniuses. And again, you have the Sylvanas on your side, so you can bolster those effects to great power for your team. And so far, Murloc Genius is doing a nice job stalling on the top side of the map. Fan using his E, despite everybody saying never do that in Hero League. Showtime able to get in his 21 gems there. Tenidactyl getting flipped in, taunted up. There is the Aegis to stop any damage from coming through. Leon Black is the target now, very, very low. Looks like he's in a wealth of trouble. Showtime with that last auto gets the kill, but here's the Dragon Blade sweeping through. That's 2 dead for Cataclysm, and Murloc Geniuses are doing a fantastic job cleaning up this team fight.
Look, man, he only got 1 strike in, but that strike was money, Kala. He got the Swift Strike in with the Dragon Blade swing. The Cocoon came out in response, but following up on that Wailing Arrow, good combo. Solid there. There's Roots and Fan getting that damage, getting that Festering Wounds, getting that damage through is going to get some kills, as we're going to see more coming in. Twilight Dream, there's going to be 1, there's 2, and it's going to be a triple. And also, the gems are on the floor, and 0 now in the reserve of Cataclysm.
That big daddy 2-man queue over the wall for Cattle. I told you guys that this guy plays Imperious. The silence on top of it. That was clean from Murloc Geniuses. Really big team fight.
Fan double E, which means double the fun to try and make the plays, getting those W stacks out. I'm going to take a quick look in. 91 stacks, so the damage is real. Getting that bonus damage in. The Windrunner at 13. It's playmaking time for Fan on this Sylvanas.
Murloc Geniuses have everything going for themselves right now. They have massive top lane pressure. It looks like they're just going to try to make a gank onto mid, but Tenny's going to be able to walk away from that one. I can't imagine Murloc Geniuses not just running it down top lane, because they have the Sylvanas. They have all of this pressure with the Weeb Weaver as well. Elheim taking a boatload of damage, forced to ult there. Fan just taking so much tower damage as well. So just little bits of just trades in health bars here.
Kyle, I think this is a good time that we actually take a listen in for Murloc Geniuses, because they have the boss, they have the Web Weavers and the Sylvanas. We're going to try and get a listen in to see how they can capitalize on this comp and the damage coming in. See if we can get that.
Loved it.
Have a taunt.
I'm in web. They're all arrowed.
I'm breaking web.
I'm breaking it.
Ulti.
VP,
nice.
2-man VP in the back. Just go core. We can end, go core. I can innervate you.
Just split. Refuse.
Holy shit, the damage. He bossed on here. Oh, wow. This hero's fucking busted.
Go,
Sorry,
Fan's just styling
what?
there.
Yeah, that was good. Sorry, I didn't quite hear you. What'd you say, Cattle? You want to repeat yourself? But seriously, GG's. Murloc Geniuses find those team fights. They get the picks. That, man, I still got to talk about that one spear by Cattle over the wall to just finish it up. It ended up being 5 dead off of that. Not all at the same time, of course, but the extended team fight. Most importantly to me, though, was Cataclysm's just... They died way too frequently during the early game, and I felt like it wasn't even because Murloc Geniuses found picks onto them. It was because Cataclysm made mistakes. You know, Zeratul being just like so far up in certain situations and stuff like that. Like, you can't have that happen. Like, look at that. It's just... That's not like Zeratul should be bottom clearing right now or top clearing. That's just how you play Zeratul. Tenny also just trying to help out in these situations, but it just seems too little. They get the trade kill and everything like that, but I believe another dies here. Yeah, so Tenny ends up dying too, and it's just Cataclysm fell too far behind from all of these kills.
Yeah, it was rough from minute 1 till beyond. It was, I don't want to say it was sloppy, right? It was chaotic in the early game. You know, we saw some trades in terms of the kills, but then it started to get to the point. It's like, look, Equinox is trying to do a lot on a hero that can't really do a lot, as you said, until later. But the final call here, this boss plus a Sylvanas, I mean, the root, the taunt, I mean, this was all money. The Wailing Arrow, you could hear June coming in there, ulti, he's ready to go. And then Biggie just following up.
That's the big silence. Honestly, I'm liking Biggie on this Genji. To me, his follow-ups were perfect. His Swift Strikes were beautiful, getting all the picks that they needed. But Murloc Geniuses definitely played much tighter as a team this game compared to last game, and it shows. Like, that was a 12-minute game, dude.
At the tail end of that, Fan went on the other side of that structure again to get another kill onto Faye. That double at that 13, man, the double E, it's always been there, right? But now the impact that he's able to have with that level 7 and the W build, like Fan was dishing it out. I'm actually watching the replay of our stream as well just to watch it again. That's how much I appreciate good Sylvanas play. I love watching Fan play Sylvanas. It's my favorite.
Makes me happy watching you watch somebody play Sylvanas. It's like me watching somebody play Abathur, you know?
I play a lot. Abathur's my second most played hero. Ooh, Zeratul.
I mean, a good player playing it.
That's 3 times now, Kala. 3 times.
Dude, I'm waiting
3
for you to
strikes.
flame me back,
you know what
dude.
that means.
No, I'm sorry. I won't ever do it again. You're my friend.
Who's from Canada and calls them dirty South boys, by the way?
Dude, that name has such a long history. It's not even funny. I'm not going to go into it, though. But yes, that's me on Reddit. You found me out.
Yeah. Yeah, every time I see it, I'm like, who is this guy? Speaking of who is this guy, we got who is this series. This is a 1-to-1 series now. Best of 5, single elimination. There's no turning back. The fact that we saw Cataclysm come in to get the first game on Dragonshire was a statement. It seems like they have it there, but things got lost in the draft on this last one. So I really want to see, like, where actually I can tell you, I know what the next map is because I snuck a peek. It's Infernal Shrines.
Ooh. Beautiful. We've seen some intense Infernal Shrines play so far. We saw a extremely close game in the first series of our day. Endemic clutching it out. That was a beautiful, beautiful moment. Honestly, we couldn't have asked for a better game on Infernal Shrines earlier.
The Infernal Shrines game backdoor. I mean, that's the stuff that gets clipped and everybody's like full pogs, you know, making those plays happen. Shrines here, though. We saw Kerrigan banned out on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I can guarantee you Kerrigan will be banned out here. Like, unless I didn't see who was first pick yet. First pick is actually going to be Cataclysm. So Kerrigan will probably be banned because I was going to say, if we saw Murloc as first pick, then it might be fans like, well, wait a minute, I can play it as well. But denying that from Equinox, 100% guaranteed, no Kerrigan picked here. It's just, I just think it's impossible.
Yeah, I think that you could do that as well. Just don't give it to him. Don't do it. It could be too strong, too volatile, in fact. Yeah, I'm just excited to see what these teams decide to run. Now you have this clutch pick on the side of Murloc Geniuses of the Imperius. Like, it actually looked so good. Cattle's Imperius was strong. I want to see more of it. I really do. Because honestly, up until this point, he just seems so lackluster.
It does feel fun that we're seeing Blaze as a main tank and an offlaner, maybe to varying success. We see Imperius as solo laner, second tank, main tank. We've kind of seen this varying degree of where these tanks are coming from. And, you know, you play in these games, you're like, is Imperius a main tank? Is he an offlaner? Is Blaze a main tank? Is he an offlaner? The answer is yes to both on each. It's like they can do whatever. And I think that's actually pretty cool.
All right, we're going to be getting into this draft really, really soon. Is there any heroes that you want to see that we haven't seen so far? I was honestly surprised that we saw a pretty big emphasis on like the Greymane earlier today. Well, maybe not big emphasis. We only saw it in the one game, but it's still, I don't know, it kind of took me for surprise. It's one of those heroes that you just don't really see a whole lot of anymore.
You mentioned the Greymane? I'm sorry, I was checking on lobby. Yeah. The Greymane, clearly there's a lot of damage potential that comes out from the Greymane, but once Jimmy Raynor got his rework and Phoenix is still there, it's like, well, why pick Greymane when we can just kind of do the same thing from really far away? And it felt weird because Greymane is one of those heroes that has the damage, but then I feel like you've also got to get the PvE value out of him, which we saw a team like Team Freedom in their run towards BlizzCon. They did it with the Anubarak Greymane just to try and get that split push value. And I don't know if that's as prominent anymore because that was simply due to let's get structures for XP because it's given at that moment that XP is there, and then you could just build those leads. And then now I don't know how that fits with our current XP model, and it's like, oh, let's draft this and get some PvE value so that we can get a lead and then fight. But that lead is going to come in, it's going to trickle in over time. It's like, yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird.
Because it used to just be let's use this lead to have the talent advantage and then keep the talent advantage all game and just win that way. But I absolutely agree. That play is no longer really possible. It's let's use this comp to get the lead that we get in like 5 minutes or 6 minutes, and then at that point it's like, wait, we just lost a team fight at level 10. Our whole early game lead is moot at this point, so it can be a little yikes.
It's game time. Tied up 1-1, best of 5, so still a couple more games to go at minimum. Abathur will likely be banned out. The melee assassins, to me, from what we saw between Fight Night and what we've seen so far, Maiev does well on this battleground. We already mentioned the Kerrigan. The Zeratul has been very strong for a lot of teams, or at least in their eyes, so there's going to be the Maiev. See if Kerrigan's going to be the ban. I think Cataclysm's going to put the onus onto Murloc, but then it's a matter of, well, you're going to give up Diablo somewhere along the lines if he's not banned, and it's just who's willing to pick it up early and who's willing to let it through, or maybe Kerrigan just comes out and Diablo's the response.
Okay, next ban, what are we gonna see here? It's gonna be the Malthael. Malthael has actually been stronger in this meta than I thought he was going to be, but I guess I understand why, right? He's so good against the prominent tanks in the meta, and he's also very, very fantastic when it comes to double clearing minion waves. And again, minion waves are so important, wave clear is so important, so I understand that emphasis. And there we go. The ban onto Kerrigan, of course that's not getting through.
So do we go first pick Zeratul for Equinox, or do we get Diablo right out of the gate? It's gonna be Dibbles. El Dibbles.
Yeah, I agree with that. Definitely agree with that. I don't know. The Zeratul, it just didn't look like they understand the playstyle as well as they needed to in order to pull it off. Game number 1 looked way better from Cataclysm, so I think that's smarter to place the emphasis onto the earlier Diablo.
First 2 picks for Murloc. See if Zeratul's part of the equation. You could always, if it goes through, maybe you could Zeratul again, VP APOC. We know that's an old school combo. Junkrat will be the pickup, however, as Garrosh will man the front line to try and deal with that Diablo. But Junkrat, Infernal was probably his best battleground for a long time, and they do go with the Zeratul. But Junkrat was that solo, was the solo, but very strong on Infernal. I remember talking to Snitch, one of the best Junkrats that we had when we were at BlizzCon. He's like, Junkrat just doesn't feel the same, man. Like, this meta is not for him. We'll see if that kind of comes into play. Zeratul, Zeratul can get onto that backline against the Junkrat. He's super squishy, so it's going to be mine placement right under your feet, traps nearby to make sure and deal with that Zeratul. So it's going to be a fun cat and mouse game with that Zeratul flanking.
Yeah, playing the Junkrat as well against, like, this has to be a Medivh ban, right? I think. Well, it doesn't have to be, but I think it might be wise, especially playing against maybe this is Zeratul and Diablo. We'll see what it's going to be. Yeah, it's the Medivh ban. I think that's heads up. That's wise. And now playing Junkrat against a Zeratul, especially during the late game, is so scary.
See where the other damage comes in.
Wait,
I would.
this is Cattle Junkrat, isn't it? My man's plays a dirty rat too, and let me tell you, he really learned a lot of my rat techniques from Cattle. I hope it's a Cattle Junkrat. Oh, but he also plays Tychus. Confused now.
Tychus. So Tychus will rip apart a Diablo, like just shred a Diablo. So that will help out a lot. Can also go into Relentless Soldier at level 7, so if he does need to play in close quarters, gets that armor whenever he gets stunned. You also have the capability when you're running Odin. When you pop Odin, you get the Unstoppable, plus you have the armor. So you're very tanky against this style of play. And the Thrall, I mean, that is aggressive, and the Orphea behind it, I mean, they are going to be coming directly at your face.
Cow, dude. Yeah. That is a scary draft. Okay, rounding it off with Imperius. Okay, that's definitely going to be Cattle there. Fans Junkrat also really, really good. I like the draft from Murloc Geniuses as well, but honestly, we got, like, Cataclysms is so explosive. How can we not talk about that? Zeratul, Tyrande, Thrall, Orphea. Especially, like, this Orphea with the setup from Zeratul as well. It looks like it's going to be Showtime playing the Zeratul this time, so a little bit of a different dynamic here on the side of Cataclysm. Both of these drafts looking good, both looking comfortable, but yeah, it's basically just going to be how they play around the objectives.
I mean, we know what we're getting. I mean, they're coming at you, and the jaws are going to be chomping down. Whether the VP comes in, it's the APOC, the chomp. I mean, that is a wombo combo of epic proportion. I mean, you might just throw in the Earthquake in there to make sure you get the easy setup. Sundering could come in, but you got to make sure that you're not hitting those at the same time you're trying to collapse everybody in at the same time. So it's there. If it goes off, it'll be noticed. I mean, Karash does taunt on that front line, so it's like if Zeratul, Diablo, and Thrall get caught in there, the problem that I have is who's, like, it's going to be on Cattle on that Imperius to bring kind of the finisher, right? Because Junkrat does poke damage. Tychus can get through the majority of the health bar, but he's not exactly a finisher. So they're going to need that added damage from Cattle there on Imperius to try and close some of these fights out.
And if there's one thing that Cattle can do on Imperius, it's damage. So we'll see if they can make that happen. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 3. 1-1 across the board.
Okay. You know, you said Showtime's on Zeratul, and I'm like, all right, that means we got Equinox on Thrall. And like I said, Equinox does things differently. We got Crash Lightning at level 1. Where does he stack this?
I don't know. In the losers bracket? But there isn't one.
But there isn't one.
Monk of Christ.
Look, man, I love stacks. I have an emote on my stream strictly for stacks. Even I wouldn't be crazy enough to try and stack here.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, bud. We'll see if he can get the stacks. I wonder if we're gonna be able to have a look at the stat numbers the stack numbers as the game moves on, but that, I don't know. I'm never about stacks. Maybe on Volskaya and maybe when I'm feeling trolly. I think those are like the two situations, but we'll see.
And 100% NA Rams.
Yeah, exactly. Of course. Yeah, that's without question.
Well, we'll see how it goes. I don't know how I feel about it, but if he gets it stacked, then, you know, I'll eat my words. Right now, Leon Black going in, trying to scout out, is great at holding into position. There's going to be the knock-up after the follow-up there. Cattle gets the stun and the concussion mine. That's a nice invade. Steal the camp right out of the gate.
I can't help but think that they also just saved Equinox there. I think they could have just killed him. All the members of Cataclysm were off on the side. Leon Black getting stunned up underneath the towers, and he goes down as well. First blood going over to Cataclysm. Have to be careful of that sort of situation. You know, playing against the Diablo, he's able to really body Garrosh in the right scenarios.
Showtime has his hands full in the top lane with Cattle on this Imperius. I really wonder level 4 now for Malfurion. We've seen the changes to different root talents, including the nerf on Vengeful Roots. Vengeful would have been good for that position to give you some fodder for those towers, but the choke points here around the shrines, controlling those chokes or maybe reducing healing, looks like there's some contemplation going around which root talent we're going to see. And I think shrines, there's definitely room for going away from Vengeful.
Okay, so it looks like Equinox electing to run this kind of anti-tank composition. Or sorry, talent build here for the Thrall, likely going to go Alpha Wolf 16 late game. We'll see. But I think that's likely what he's going to try to do. Gets flipped in, rooted up. Tychus damage is huge. Walks away from that one. Nani?
9 lives. The rest of Cataclysm, they need to heart, they need to tap, they need to lick their wounds and get back into this fight. June and team will start their rotation up to the top. They're closer to 7, but that's not a real threat. The camp that was picked up in the bottom will occupy the Cataclysm members for now, as we'll see Cattle and team not yet committed. It looks like they've rethought trying to get that level 7 as they've left Tychus in the mid lane. They'll start their rotation up to the shrine.
We're seeing the power of Imperius, or maybe just the lack thereof, on the side of Zeratul during the early game. Zeratul's just losing basically every single trade against Imperius, but again, that's not the point of Zeratul during the early game. He just wants to get stacked up. Wants to get scaled up into the late game, because that's really when he becomes a powerhouse. Level 7's coming in soon. That's when he gets the wormhole. What was that interaction?
I don't know,
Did you see that?
Faye took a large chunk of damage, and I'm not entirely sure what happened. I'm not gonna lie to you. Imperius still
I'm pretty
escaped.
sure Cattle landed the Q. I heard the noise, but then her Q landed,
but like
and she,
there was no stun.
Jumped away from it. Yeah, that was really weird.
Trust me, I saw it. I wasn't quite sure what it was that I saw. I'm glad you caught it too.
Yeah, that's a question mark from me. But Arcane Punisher
Lots
going
of
over
question
Murloc
marks?
Geniuses. Yeah, big focus on this top lane. If they can zone off the members of Cataclysm, again, Cataclysm is weak with this early game Zeratul, so they can't defend very well. There's the double root, big plays by June, stepping up. If Murloc Geniuses can get the first fort here with this objective, that would be a huge power play for themselves.
They've committed all 5 up here. Zeratul in the bottom. See if they can get more. Trying to get the follow-up. Punisher will dive beyond, start to fall. They'll get the first fort, committed everything, and then they'll make their rotation down. As Zeratul just trying to double soak, deny as much experience as possible away from Murloc, outside of the trickle they'll now get from that fort.
I think that was a fantastic choice to allocate all your resources in the top lane. Picking up that fort at 5 minutes means you get so much value from the passive experience very, very early on. So that was very good by Murloc Geniuses. And you want to try to snowball the game as fast as possible against a Zeratul composition.
Just trying to continue to ping that well there, making sure that the Impalers could shoot over that wall. The Equinox are going to get flipped in. Cattle, seeing if he can maybe track him down. The Roots are going to try and funnel him in, but Equinox able to juke out of there. Leon Black going to go ahead and miss that ground break, but he says, why don't you get on in there, into the fray, buddy? Fans like, hold on, yes, no, yes, yes, okay, I'm fine.
I wonder if we're able to get a quick control 1 in here to see if we can have a look at stacks, if at all possible. If not, that's fine. I just want to know what Thrall is at with these stacks, because
yeah, last I checked, it was like 5. Yeah, I'm sneaking in the game. All right, there we go. We got to look in. 7 stacks there. We also got Orpheus stacking at level 7, getting those chop stacks. Tenny, again, that's the part where you can get the health bar down, but who's the finisher? Who is the finisher in those moments? And it's not a lot. We did get Relentless Soldier, by the way, for Tychus, so making sure that he'll be able to survive the potential onslaught. Is Faye going to sniff out Cattle? Nobody nearby. So going to go ahead and dip on out.
Yeah, see, like, I just don't know about that level 1 from Thrall. Like, so far, literally Thrall doesn't have a level 1 talent. Like, that's basically what it's like right now. If he's able to get to those 30 stacks, things change up. But I don't know, man. It could prove to be devastating for Cataclysm. We'll see, though, of course. You know, we flame these talents a lot, but it's justified. It's a very tough talent to make work, so we have to constantly comment about it.
Well, I'm excited to see this combo. Speaking of combo, there's going to be the root. The follow-up, Diablo just getting blasted, ends up panicking on that R button. Garrosh will end up getting traded out, but the knockback Equinox is going to be in there, surviving with that Earthquake, proccing those Frostwolf stacks, getting those heals, will stay alive. I'm waiting for the Wombo, and some raw R buttons were hit there to make the most out of that fight. A 1-for-1 trade on those tanks.
Diablo is back, though, so Cataclysm can look to make a play here onto the Murloc Geniuses Khazra camp if they so choose, but it looks like they're just going to spend some time instead. Of course, that camp not up for 2 minutes, so I'm a monkey, but I wasn't able to see the minimap at that point. But still, you know, members of Murloc Geniuses now back alive, so likely both these teams will just look to clear out waves if they can, start their Fallen Shaman camp. Yeah.
You know, there's been a lot more discipline from Cataclysm this game than we saw in the first game and the second game. There was a lot of kills. So far, there's been 3 in 8 minutes. You know, I'm curious what we're going to hear when we do get to the comms this game on the side of Cataclysm, see if they've toned that down. They've still got the big Wombo threat potential. It's 20 seconds out before we can get that. Speaking of Wombo, Cattle coming in, trying to make one of his own, but there's the VP, Kala.
VP doesn't drop in time. Nice taunt to stop any damage. Leon making big plays. Junkrat bomb hits 2. Big impact. Truly had a massive impact in this team fight. Zeratul, though, able to clean up the kill onto Caterpillar. So that's a 2-for-1 trade. And the Skeletal Defenders in favor of Cataclysm, but only for a moment. With those extra heroes dead, it should be another easy objective picked up here for Murloc Geniuses. And of course, they had their Fallen Shaman camp pushing top the entire time, too. So Cataclysm need to make sure they get that one cleaned up. And again, to reiterate, these Zeratul comps don't want to fight super frequently pre-16. They just want to be able to back into these minion waves, pick up the soak, and already Cataclysm are playing the Zeratul comp this game 10 times better than last game.
Imperius still on his way down the lane, so won't be here for the initiation part of it. Groundbreaker will hit Tenny. Leon Black, Indomitable, trying to get in there. Nice sidestep. That will be back shortly. They'll have to get the bait over the wall. But now all 5 members again committed here, Kala, to try and siege up. And they've got the Odin as well, one of the best sieging tools in the game. So they're going to be looking to make a play for the keep if they can get a stun, a kill. But nice bait right now for Cataclysm.
Should be a pretty reasonable clear. Fan using that Odin to just try to get as much damage structurally as possible. Not going to be able to get a keep, though. Stepping up for just a few extra auto attacks, but that should be it. And in fact, has to be careful of not stepping up too far. A few auto attacks could be your demise.
Nature's Cure used there. Equinox continuing the run down. Stacks, he got another stack in there. He's up to 12 stacks, not even halfway there yet. We'll need 30 of those before he gets the hero priority. Orphea, not a lot of stacks so far on that level 7. So if those do come online, those are big playmakers. But as you said before, they are so difficult to make happen. We'll see if those do come online as the game goes into the later stages. Showtime not showing yet in that wave. Just going to body soak, denying information from Murloc.
All of these heroics going to be back online in 25 seconds. And that's a big moment. You know, next objective going to be topside. So Murloc Geniuses, if they are able to pick up another objective for themselves in this game, which has decent likelihood because you're playing against this pre-16 Zeratul again, that means that Murloc Geniuses have the opportunity to rip their Odin, perhaps push up and look at the first keep of the game for themselves before Cataclysm have their chance to come online with their late game teamfighting composition. I would like to see
Murloc's is going
try
in
to put as much pressure top. Yeah, this is really good.
I'd love to hear
on the topside as possible.
Yeah, I want to hear what they're saying about this. This is a call that they're going to try and divert this. They steal this camp. They steal the information. I want to get a listen and to see where Murloc, what they can make happen with this camp. They're sieging up immediately.
All right. Out of mid.
Yeah, I think we just pressure one of these lanes hard.
I don't see Zeratul.
Top. Next turn, top.
I'm gonna stay.
They might all go on you.
Okay.
Yeah, they recall.
There is here.
They have to clear mid.
Hello, bro.
Yeah, they're going hard on
tanky
us.
now.
Backing up.
Wait, we're 16. They're not.
Yeah, we can fight.
Yeah.
We can fight.
I'm super tanky. I'm on the sky.
Look at throw maybe.
Yeah, I'm on the draw.
Do you have anything, Cattle?
I have a lot of damage in this side.
Okay. Root it.
Yes.
Pooping.
Oh, I thought that. Watch VP. VP.
I'm flying.
They missed. Just kite.
Rip tiring here?
They're on me, but I'm fine. Kill Tenny. Diablo.
Nice. Oh, wait. Oh, Faye.
I don't have anything.
I'd have a pop up.
I might be able to carry just off AoE damage.
I'm just hitting the building. Creeps are dying. Creeps are dying. There's one creep left.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. We can tank a little bit. Just stay on the edge.
Tanking.
Back up. I don't want to tank too much. Start over there.
I'm 50 armor. Fine.
Sarah has to blink out. No blink.
Got him. We can go in again.
I have a
Keep.
slow
Focus keep though. Focus keep. Damage on keep. Keeping out.
I have it up. But I wanna...
Leave. Unless... Alright.
I might look here.
I'm down.
Yeah, I'm down.
Okay, it's too far.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll
Unless...
like, if we turn right now, we
Unless... What the fuck?
Oh, I mean, they're literally running it down. We have to go.
Keep going.
True.
My fucking damage.
I'm going for Diablo. 2 of us are on Diablo, so you guys are on your own.
Fine. He was gone.
Unless.
Just go mid keep right now. Go mid keep. Fuck the shrine.
Unless... Oh god.
Watch me.
Right yeah, watch it.
Unless Kala.
Also, Fan teaching us about biology. I didn't know you could do that to mid keeps. That's interesting. Thanks, Fan. Smile, clap. Here's the big rip tire. Goodbye, Faye. In just a moment here. Well, at least Zeratul died off of that one, but that should be another dead. Tyrande goes down. Faye is the next target. Good night, my friend.
Are you trying to say
you have to die, right?
Another
Okay,
one.
There you go. Yeah, another. There you go. And
resources are low here.
Yeah, that's true.
I think they're gonna play double keep 20 tier.
Uh-oh.
If they get another kill and stagger it though, unless Kala.
Dude, I bet you they're still saying it right now. June with his unless. Tenny gets booped in, has a lot of health, but he's gonna die. Unless. You got 3 Katas on the top side pushing in, and that should be GG. Murloc Geniuses.
Unless. Cattle goes in, trying to get the stun. Tenny did have souls. He's alive for now. Unless.
Oh my god, dude. All right, I guess we unless these Murloc Geniuses run it down and get the victory here. Beautiful.
When in doubt, like when you're not sure if you're gonna keep sieging or not, just be like, unless, unless like that. Look, man, that I'm not gonna lie, man, that's staggered death. That's avoidable, and that shouldn't happen. Unless.
That's so funny, dude. Holy crap. A new meme has been born, ladies and gentlemen. A new meme.
Unless. Oh. I love it.
Dude, but Cataclysm definitely played their comp better this time, but that end of game, they just fell apart. Like hardcore. And of course, Murloc Geniuses, they set up the map so well. There's constantly times where they're like forcing fights in areas and they had camps running. Like this one, for an example, they just straight up have the map set up better. They have top camp. Cattle is in a lot of trouble, but able to walk back into the VP. Also has the shielding. Big taunt by Leon to stop damage from coming through with that VP as well. Absolutely galactic bomb there by the Junkrat. Huge Riptire, just getting kill after kill. Just big plays in general by Murloc Geniuses.
Yeah, it really felt like the fight was over, and then you're like, unless, look, man, all I gotta say is that's the type of execution where it's relentless. The approach is relentless. They go in, they go ham. I mean, Fan living there, it was a nice stun, but that Riptire, Cattle almost had himself a full shish kebab there, as Faye just able to stay alive for now. But this was the beginning of the end. I mean, it felt like they were going to just defend. Even when Faye falls here, the game is not over. But Equinox is going to go out and poke here in a moment, and I think at this point, Cataclysm's like, wait a minute, I think this is game. And then they went out here. I mean, Tenny. Yeah, sorry, there's somebody in my stream named Tentori. Tenny, Tentori, you know, they're all the same. But as this started to unfold one after another, I mean, you look at the top of the screen, it's just, that's staggered deaths. And then another one,
over and over,
and another one, and another one.
It's true. Like, their comms straight up, it's really funny to listen to if you guys are just tuning in, but it was, okay, we get mid keep only unless, you know, somebody runs it in and then they get another kill. And it's just, over and over, they're just getting more and more and more off of these staggered deaths from Cataclysm. Got to make sure that they're not falling apart. Perhaps we'll be able to jump into comms with Cataclysm next game just to see how they're dealing with these losses.
I mean, the whole thing is that getting to listen to comms is a unique experience. This is the first time we've ever done it in a competitive environment. There's been times where it's been pre-recorded and given, but we've never had just this level of competition with live comms. It's a mixed bag of what we're going to get. We've heard that. The excitement from Cataclysm during game 1, the somewhat calm communication that we get oftentimes from Catalan team, unless is born. So this look in to see, you know, the mentality of these teams and how it's unfolding in the middle of a game, whether it's towards the middle, whether it's teams that are ending, the varying degrees of stress and excitement. It's such a unique thing, man. I'm loving these listen-ins.
Yeah, it's so far been my favorite part about this, and I just want to thank everybody again who's just put on this tournament. It has been so much fun. I you know, it's a little crazy, but I feel like this tournament has the potential to have more interesting production than the HGC ever had because of stuff like this. Like, there's no way that Blizzard would put something like that on their stream, right? Like, it's just because, you know, we heard a couple people dropping some F-bombs and some big words here and there, and you can have some awful stuff show up, but at the same time, it gives you that inside look at just how teams operate, and it's a pleasure that not a lot of viewers have had the opportunity to listen to, and I'm so thankful that you guys out there get to hear how these teams talk, even though, you know, some of it's a little bit troll here and there. It's fun, and I'm glad that everybody gets to hear about it.
It's really cool. We're going to Towers of Doom next, man. Towers, always a fun map. We see these players, the globals, the late game Zeratul. Like, do we just stop picking Zeratul if we're on the side? I mean, Showtime clearly played that a little better, a little more disciplined, but they couldn't quite get to that late game spike. They hit 16 towards the end, but the damage was irreparable at that point. So is Zeratul hands off? Is it hands on? I mean, Fan is an incredible Zeratul player if he wants to flex over. So you have multiple people on the side of Cataclysm. You have, I'm pretty sure, multiple people on the side of Murloc if they so choose. So does Zeratul, is he that viable at this moment? Do we get Genji back in the mix of things? The high impact heroes tend to be the ones that a lot of games, they teeter on. It's literally you're walking that knife's edge of this hero can carry a game or this hero can be a liability. And I wonder are those heroes gonna have the same priority as this goes on?
This is a Zeratul map. You know, Towers of Doom, he is so good on this map. But again, we will see, because it just, despite Cataclysm getting him for 2 games, it has not looked good. Let's face it. I don't think that Zeratul was the problem so much last game, but when I mean it hasn't looked good, it's just it hasn't resulted in wins, which is, it's an important statistic to consider when you're looking at heroes, especially in a single elimination, especially in a best of 5.
The Abbott there, the usual suspects, Maev as well. See if this is the Zeratul or a Kerrigan. We've seen the Malthael come up. I think that we're going to focus probably more. It will be the Zeratul. So despite the lack of success, the threat that Zeratul brings is enough to warrant a ban.
Fair enough. I think that's actually wise, just considering how good he is on the map, you know, and yeah, I think it's smart. Cataclysm now with the opportunity, they could just ban a Medivh early as well. Genji also a very smart ban. Diablo ban would have been really good as well. But now Murloc Geniuses have a bunch of heroes at their disposal that they can run as a first pick. Diablo is a kind of a screaming one for me. Murloc Geniuses can elect to run so many different styles of comps. They actually decide on the Malthael. Again, we were talking about the emphasis on Malthael in this tournament so far, and as a first pick, that's pretty wild.
If this was a year ago, I'd be like, we're getting Malthael, we're getting Kerrigan, we're getting Tank Uther. Like, this was what Tempo did at February of last year on Towers of Doom. They were just like all in your face, and a Malthael was normal. I don't know if we're going to get that here, but you wouldn't hear me complain if they did.
True. Run the old Psalm Cleave. See if it comes through. Toronto and Anubarak picked up here for Cataclysm. I like it so far. Anub, we've seen pretty decent success in this tournament. Maybe, yeah, I believe it's 50-50 now, right? Because we saw him in 2 games. Or do we see him in more? I don't know. He's looked good though. It's not
I think you're yeah. The Imperious, man, Cattle is riding with it. We are triple melee. Triple melee.
Thinking emoji.
What are we gonna get a range or are we gonna get another melee? What are you feeling? Look, we still got a few picks to go, but what are you feeling?
I think you go, you need some sort of heavy damage dealer. So you run a mage, you run a support, and then you just round it off. I think that's the, or it could be a backline auto attacker too, like a Phoenix or a Raynor. Could work pretty well in addition to that.
So what you're saying is Kerrigan Uther?
Yes, absolutely. That'd be fun.
I would not complain. I mean, look, you mentioned a backliner. We haven't seen a lot, and we've seen, you know, Beetle build kind of come in with the new build. And Li Ming was kind of always the answer to, look, what's going to pop that cocoon? Disintegrate's always been there. But with the change to a Nubarak build, we haven't seen Li Ming yet. I don't know how much Li Ming we're going to get despite the frequent Nubarak picks.
Wait a second. Does June get to play Ana? Ana Malthael into this? I don't know, but you're playing against a Nubarak, so Ana could just get blasted.
Hey!
Ooh, okay, we see you, Equinox. Let's see if you can make this pick work out here. So much burst damage for Cataclysm. You land any stun, and someone is going to die. Murloc Geniuses need to run sort of cleanse. Honestly, an Uther here wouldn't even be the worst case Ontario. They're running a Li Ming for that burst mage that we were thinking of. What's the support going to be? They need a cleanse of some sort against this. Like, that's just... That goes without saying, I think, right? Who is it? Yeah,
it is
Uther
the
Chan.
Uther.
I think that's wise, right? Because, I mean, you're playing as Kerrigan and Nubarak Toronto. Like, there's... I think the Uther is probably the best pick.
Oh, ho, ho! Ooh, there is no Viking Hunter on this team. So Vikings are going to get mad top and mid lane value, while the rest of the team gets to look for dinner. Like, this is a 4-man gank squad that has no other things to worry about. Just,
best hope
let's go.
These Vikings don't show up to team fights, though, because Li Ming's just going to be reset city, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is one scary thing.
But same time, Vikings in general, able to soak all 3 lanes, able to just get so much experience on the map. If you start dying against a Vikings composition, they just sprint away with the game, so that can be super terrifying. Also able to control the top camp pretty well with the Vikings pick as well, so you'd expect Murloc Geniuses to make sure that that's not getting snowballed on the top side of the map. Cataclysm pulling out the stops here, okay, with this Vikings comp. What do you think about it?
I mean, I always love Vikings on Towers of Doom. The fact that they can literally just 4-man roam the whole bottom half of the map with 0 repercussions outside of maybe they don't die. That's where the Uther, they're going to test the Uther. I mean, you come out, you get the big armor. You know, we saw the buff to Uther's armor and the nerf to the Hunter's Mark from Tyrande, so you're going to get a more a net positive gain on the side of Uther. So you're more tanky that way. But the firepower that could come out here is, it's very, very threatening every second of the game.
Let's see if Cataclysm can find those big combos. So far, Cattle just getting those multi-impales. Cattle now in a bunch of trouble. Spells coming through, though, from Li Ming. Equinox trying to land some stunts. Finds 3, actually. Imperious dies off the backside of this fight. Leon in a lot of trouble. Kerrigan dies. June is in trouble, too. What is this team fight, dude?
Fan managing to get out of there. The stun, able to avoid the stun. And Biggie just trying to say, can I get a reset? Fan surviving. And this is a bloodbath to start. The most important thing about that is that the Vikings have had 0 people join them. Oh, another one.
June. Yeah, that was so bad for Murloc Geniuses. They lost a 3-for-1 trade in terms of kills, and then Vikings were soaking the entire time. That's almost an entire wave down. Top side, maybe a Viking dies. Ooh, Faye able to escape. Faye's a really good Vikings player. Let's keep that in mind too.
Look, you don't even have to really do anything as a Viking other than not die. Your #1 priority is to not die. Speaking of not dying, Li Ming could not do that, as that is a massacre. This is what it's going to look like. And as long as the Vikings don't... look, you can lose one and then send the other one up. That's not a big deal. But if you start staggering Vikings, that's when it's a problem. As long as you just don't die, the rest of your team will win the game. We're looking at a full level lead already, Colin.
Yeah, that's so scary, dude. And Sapper Camps as well going over to Cataclysm. So just entire bot lane control. You've got these bolstered up Sappers coming in. Cataclysm looking to get big damage onto this fort. On top of that, they want to take it if they possibly can. Fan pushing in, doesn't want to give away this fort so early, but he's literally just inting. Like, I don't know what more to say about that.
Equinox making the play, getting that impale in. That Ravage, I should say. Getting the Ravage in. Enough to get the pullback. Didn't need to land the full combo. Brought his team along with him. 6 kills to 1. We're approaching almost a 2-level lead. 2 minutes in, we're talking about bottom fort goes down. That's insane.
Absolutely agree with you. And I was saying, as soon as you start getting kills and you're the Vikings comp, you sprint away with the game. 2.5 minutes into the game, or 2.75, whatever, it doesn't matter. And you are 2 levels ahead of your opponents in this current economy on this patch. Like, that is insanity.
Well, you're going to get multiple shots here. Vikings already on the bottom. The gank squad sitting and waiting. You can't even begin to move in if you're Murloc. So we're talking 10 shots on the first phase. Diablo, there's another stun. The follow-up is there. The armor comes in. Hunter's Mark still on. Leon, though, with plenty of souls. He's going to go, but Equinox comes in. He's looking for another combo. They are relentless, and they are continuing their assault, but Murloc starting to fight back. Equinox trying to get the kill. Tyrande goes down, and now this is Murloc coming back, getting a double to at least stop the bleeding for now.
Really nice trade kills there. Finding those two off that mid, I guess, attempt from Cataclysm was huge for Murloc Geniuses. It allows them to try to get as much off the map as they possibly can, but they don't have a lot of structural damage, so all they really have is wave clear, right? They've got Malthael. Like, Li Ming is pretty much the only hero that hits structures hard, and Tenny was just able to stay down bottom, start spawning his beetles, and make sure that Murloc Geniuses don't step up and get anything structurally. So despite going up those kills, Murloc Geniuses unable to take anything back in terms of structures, which is a problem.
Yeah, that is always going to be something. Where's your sieging potential? Malthael and Imperius aren't exactly sieging heroes. Li Ming can poke, but you're not exactly reclaiming things, so that's a very good point. Now, Sappers picked up. No way to reclaim this. You can't ignore the top because the Vikings are there as the Clen comes in onto Leon. But the Vikings should have a free channel, and the entire time it's up to Cataclysm to just continue to hold this lane, look for kills, and they're in charge. Make no mistake about it. They are clearly in charge here.
Yep. Only a 1-level lead, though, for Cataclysm at this point, so at least Murloc Geniuses have managed to stop the bleeding a little bit. Combination lands onto Fan, and he gets deleted again, but really, really nice turn by Leon Black to try to find Tenny, but he's able to use that burrow charge to safety, and now the counter damage onto Leon, but he should be fine. June just trying to escape with his life here. He's going to be able to walk away as well. Awesome attempt by Leon, but not quite able to find it.
And mine alone.
We're 5.5 minutes in, and it's 34-22. Level 10, by the way, is here for Cataclysm. So this is, the world is their oyster. They don't necessarily want to give up the bottom lane and leave the bottom lane. This is a mistake a lot of people would make that, okay, well, you know, we've got the lead, we've got level 10, it's time to go make a play happen somewhere else. Let's go take mid. If you do that, the other team, despite the lack of 10, they can just reclaim the bottom, and that is not what you want to do. I think this is something that has been missed. The HGC level of play from the pro players that we have, these are the types of plays that are needed. That bot lane is crucial in these games.
Cataclysm with control over everything. Murloc Genius is able to take that top camp to try to push it in a little bit, but Imperius would likely just want to rotate down into a team fight to try to force something somewhere. But Cataclysm are doing such a great job at keeping this bot wave cleared very deep, so that Murloc Geniuses can't step up and take a fight with the minion wave pushed up. Like, they're just playing it so very well, and there's very little that Murloc Geniuses can do aside from look mid-top. They're doing it here, trying to find Faye, but it's like, does that really matter? Baylog dies?
Yeah.
Like, Eric's still there to soak up the minion wave, right? And then we look mid, you got another Viking. You kill one, you still got to deal with two.
Well, so far so good. Top tier play from Faye on the Viking. Only a couple of deaths, but those are inconsequential, as you said. Next altar phase, this is the first time it feels like Murloc Genius is going to have a fair fight. It's right here in the middle. It's 10-10. The Vikings aren't a huge factor because it's single altar phase. Leon goes in, lightning breath out. Going to get the slow. Cattle and team starting to scout in. The stun comes in. Equinox, see if he's ready to turn this fight. Combo's going to miss as the fight rages on.
There's the D shield. Showtime in a wealth of trouble. Ends up going down. Greymane is dead. Leon also very low, but he's going to be able to walk away to safety. Here, June has some really big healing spells coming through. Cattle versus Faye. You know, throw in the Ultralisk here as a, I guess, just an additional factor. It's kind of funny.
The worst part about that for Murloc, despite getting that pick, a Viking was able to sneak in the back door and get that cap. I mean, we're now looking at 34-17, still a level lead. There's no burrow. I was going to say that's the Anubarak. Once you burrow in, it's a long walk home. He was able to get out. Speaking of getting home, finally able to reclaim this bottom fort with the minions that are here. Should be momentarily. It's exactly what Murloc needed to get back in this.
Yeah, agreed. I would say that's the best part out of all of this. Who cares about getting the kill onto Greymane? Getting this bottom side fort is absolutely massive, but keep in mind, Cataclysm always have that ability to get the sappers, move in with a Viking as well, to just get those big swole boys to push in and try to take the fort again. It's a huge play that they can make.
Right now, Cattle looking to come over that wall with the Imperius, does just that, finds himself right in the thick of things. Armaments are out trying to take this fight. Tenny is here as well. Lightning Breath will do some zoning. Tenny trying to get out of there. Stuck for now. Last rites. Is it going to be enough? It is. That's going to be another kill here as Murloc starting to fight back.
That was a huge play again by Murloc Geniuses. You step into basically the biggest play that Cataclysm can make, which is take their sapper camp and look to push it bottom with the Viking, as we literally just said. But Murloc Geniuses know that's the play that they're trying to make, so they move in, deny the sapper camp in a 5v4 situation, and they take the victory, getting a kill onto Tenny and just cleaning up the map. Like, at least we're not seeing the entire map painted red this time around. Murloc Geniuses actually have a lot of control now, which is fantastic for them. The hardest thing to do.
You're either going to look towards that top lane, yeah. Put some pressure to that top lane. It's one of those things. This is one of those rare things when you have the Vikings. I don't know if they'll get a kill here, but this is very threatening to Cattle. So this is one of the rare circumstances where it's like, all right, we can give up the bot lane because we can take the top lane. It's okay to give up the bottom and trade here because inevitably you win the long game with the Vikings. So that the way that you've seen the game unfold already, you trade here and then you trade favorably later. It's giving some now neutral, I would say, to get more. I love this call by Cataclysm.
See if it ends up working out for them. I think it is definitely a wise choice because then they can just look to use Vikings, you know, control top, and then try to take back bottom with their next sapper camp. We'll see if they do it. But on top of all of it, Jay-How, they're looking at the boss here, trying to pick up an additional 4 shots. But Fan is here. He's going in.
They're going in. Cattle, he's going to hold point. The combo, it's going to land onto 2. D-Shield comes in just in time. We'll keep Fan alive. And now Leon's going in, trying to get the stun. Tenny's going to go down to the last rites. And Murloc again turning this fight. Equinox trying to get on there. Faye managed to get on point as Biggie getting resets at the top right of your screen. We will have to see that one again as Murloc comes in, cleans house, and takes the boss. Counterplays against what Cataclysm would have been a dominant play, but got a little greedy there.
Biggie coming in, just clapping cheeks with those resets. Huge plays by Murloc Geniuses, but it all started out with the fantastic D-Shield by June. keeping his team alive. Fan went in I think a 1v4 situation as the Malthael, but the D shield was absolutely massive to turn that fight. Big plays by Murloc Geniuses, and now when you have the Vikings comp, this is when it's hard to come back from these situations. You're losing fights, you're losing structures now, and you're playing from behind. This is an opportunity for Murloc Geniuses to run away with this game.
Ooh, just late there. Faye unable to get the interrupts. That's 10 shots coming. We might be looking at more as Murloc coming in. One Viking down. Combo. Nice cleanse. June is playing out of his mind right now. Fan going in. Trying to see if he can continue the comeback here. As the stun comes in, Showtime will eat the damage. Last rights. Gonna be healed up. Not able to get the takedown. Gotta be careful though.
This is getting hairy here, Jay. How another cap going over to Murloc Geniuses that puts the structures of Cataclysm down to 11 shots left. Meanwhile, Faye on the bottom side able to take this tower back, or sorry, the fort back. So it's going to equalize things across the board relatively soon here. We got the 4-4, so Cataclysm going to be up actually one structure unless Murloc Geniuses make that rotation to the top side and clear that one out.
Well, Kata's starting to get back into this game. They had a huge lead, now starting to let it slip. Let's listen in so we can see what their method is going to be to get back into the game.
Come
on, Leon.
Equinox here. Equinox is a little...
I have crystals, I'm good, I'm good.
Okay, stunning Leon.
Leon.
D-shield.
Run.
Hit lightning breath.
Trying.
Oh, do you have not heavy? Oh, okay. Rip.
Nope.
I'm super dead.
Almost got out of that. Biggie's almost dead.
Fuck. Okay. Damn.
Sorry, I thought we were going in. I thought Equinox was just gonna die, actually.
No, I have Cataclysm.
Kala, sometimes the end of a fight can be summed up in one word.
Unless?
I mean, that's not the one I thought, but you know what? Unless.
Yeah.
Look,
This
man,
should be
Murloc
GG.
turning it up. Yeah.
Absolutely agree. It should be GG if Murloc Geniuses play this one well. If they can clear out top, but Fan's going to have a hard time doing it against Faye. I guess they didn't really expect this. So maybe not. Depends on bottom side. That's really the only question. Did they get all these
Sappers.
in? I can't see.
1, 2.
Biggie starting the channel, but June was in a bit of trouble last we saw. Getting chased down here. Vikings are all dead. June now getting stunned up, and that's actually going to be a death for him. Cattle now in the thick of things, but the turn from Fan is here. Has June's healing for a little bit. Meanwhile, the stun lands on the Biggie. Able to teleport away for now, but he's in a wealth of trouble. Fan now dies, and Cataclysm hang on by a thread, J-How.
They're still in it. Look, Towers of Doom, you are never out. If they get that stun, nice timing there by Biggie to avoid that. They've got beetles. They're going to siege up. Look, they have 1 core health. Don't get me wrong. That's never a good thing. But it's Towers of Doom, man. Like, you can come back from 1. It does not matter. And it starts with getting kills. And it starts with getting those takedowns. They get that back. Remember, that is keep XP now. So each of these structures that start to get taken back, that will be worth keep. This will actually give 20 over to Murloc. But that bottom right, easy XP to recapture. They'll get that in a moment. It looks like their eyes are mid lane to try and get this. This might be a bit much, and we've seen them get greedy at one point.
Yep.
That tower XP is not going to get you back in the game.
Have to be careful about an overcommit right now. Malthael is out for 10 seconds, has not locked in that level 20 yet. But there it's the lock-in right now. Leon in a bunch of trouble. D-Shield is available though, so keep that in mind. The turn, the lightning breath, lots of damage. Oh my god, Tenny just got deleted.
I almost feel bad for watching that. Speaking of watching that, Equinox is going to try his best to survive, but that's going to be a takedown. Despite the Vikings' best efforts with 4 members down on the side of Cataclysm, Murloc Geniuses will be able to walk down to this bottom altar and close out what is arguably a very hard-fought series here, Colin.
Very much so. Cataclysm were just absolutely dominating in the early game. But once, though, it was basically that mid-fight where 2 died for Cataclysm that allowed Murloc Geniuses to then take that little bit of a skirmish bot. Then they took back bot fort, and then once you start losing your lead like that as the Vikings, it just becomes so difficult because Vikings aren't the best team fight hero. Like, let's face it, they're meant for cheesing early game victories like that. And when you fall behind, it's not good.
Well,
Very
they
simply
had
put.
a lightning fast start. Like, they just came out, blazed a trail. I think they were up 34-17 at one point. And then at that point, it's just like, okie dokie. The wheels fell off, man. And once they started taking one death or another, you know, we got to listen into the comms, kind of see how that fight. I mean, look, this is how the game started. Vikings, if you just look at the minimap, there's Vikings in top and bottom. That's already a win. Then they take this team fight.
And they end up going 3-for-1 in this team fight, in fact. Kerrigan dies, but then Fan, I believe, goes back in just a moment here. W's in, yeah, and then just gets... one of them dies off of that, but it ends up being a 3-for-1 trade there. Meanwhile, the Vikings were soaking the entire time. They make the play to grab sappers and push in bottom, get the fort at what, like 2 or 3 minutes, something like that. Like, that was really good early game start for Cataclysm. Just unfortunately, they couldn't hang on to it.
Well, they tried to make the long con with that trade out on the top keep, and then they went for the boss. And this was like mega crazy fight here because, I mean, the D shield right here comes money right there. Money. And then Biggie, I mean, he's off in the top right just massacring people. Everybody's holding fort. And watch this. There's going to be one reset at the top right, and give me another one. That's just
Biggie just
money plays, man.
And clapping. Dude, I was saying, like, the reset potential from Li Ming could be very, very huge in this game, and we're seeing it there. But it all started, dude, with that D shield. And not only was that a fantastic D shield, but it was also a mechanically difficult one to pull off because there were two heroes
Dude,
very,
they were
very
stacked.
close to each other. Yeah, if June had like a couple pixels to the Larry on that one, he's in trouble there, boys.
Pixel perfect. You don't expect anything less from June, though, man. Dude makes plays, and there's a reason why their team was so good. It's not a one-man effort. It's a five-man effort, and June's always been a contributing factor. So that was a pretty money play. So big credit. That D-Shield, I saw when you said it, I'm like, oh, man, this is going to change that. If they get that first kill, that goes a completely separate direction, as we now have an updated bracket for you guys here. As we see Murloc took down Cataclysm. We saw Endemic get the upset over Heroes Hearth to start our day. Next up, we're going to have Team 12 versus Scythe Esports. And Team 12, they picked up Tomster, and a lot of that roster is the same. And Scythe, the team that we never really got to see. What are you looking forward to when you see this matchup, Colin?
When we started off the tournament today, I was talking about Scythe. Basically, on social media, we're saying how disappointed they were to not show themselves in the HGC because of how much improvement that they had made as a team. They were saying in scrims that they were, competing against the top of the HGC. So I just want to see just how good Scythe is. Maybe they've taken some time off and they're not quite at the same position that they were at before, but that's the big thing for me is I just want to see these guys play. Like, they didn't get to play in the HGC, and that's a feels bad man moment, but they get to play here, so I'm stoked to see them, and I'm glad they're here.
One thing we're going to get to see is what will Justine and team's meta be? That's what excites me. But we're going to take a quick break before we come back. It's a series. When you watch Justin and Team 12, you don't want to miss it. Get out there, social media, Reddit, Twitter, wherever you're at. Let everybody know. Toasty Gladman Invitational going on right now. We'll be right back.